Thanks, Tony. Sadly, tonight we have to come to the end of our Beatles week. And does it feel like it's been 8 days?
8 days being a former Beatles song.
Only because we just had to tell you that.
No, you did
just
have to tell me, because one of the ones I didn't know.
I would have sung it for you, but it's too embarrassing. I can't do it justice.
Well, I clearly won't sing it, having not remembered it. But BBC Radio Silence Alex Dyke ends his series of films in Portsmouth, where 5 decades ago, Beatle fever really was at its height.
Love me do.
It was 50 years ago today that the 60s really started, Friday the 5th of October 1962, with the release of this. No, not that. Yes, OK, it was Sean Connery, it was James Bond, it was Dr. No, and that's fab. But I meant this, the Beatles and Love Me Do.
At Southampton and at Portsmouth, the queues went halfway round the town, and the fans just couldn't get enough.
When they get inside, they find 2 boxes, one for the first house, one for the second house. And each teenager is being asked, which one do you want? Most of them are saying both. Now that's true devotion for the Beatles.
We had the best price tickets. We were in the 3rd row from the front, and they cost 10 and 6pence. There was a lot of screaming, and we just couldn't believe it, really, that we were there. As young people, we had something of our own for the first time. You know, what did our parents have? They had the war. We had youth culture. It was fantastic.
So I've got the programme here for the night at the Portsmouth Guildhall. You could have seen Frank Berry, Canada's madman of magic. That would have been pretty exciting, I'd imagine. And this here, oh, this is fabulous. You could order a real Beatles Fab 4 sweater for 35 bob. This is brilliant.
Why must I be a teenager in love?
Known to millions as the singing milkman, Isle of Wighter Craig Douglas won a talent show, had a string of hits, and 50 years ago, as Love Me Do was climbing the charts, found himself gigging with the Fab 4 at the Liverpool Empire, and guess what? They were his backing band for the shows.
Alex, when I finished the show, I was staying in Chester, and I didn't have much change on me for the tunnel, so I went back to the theatre. The first guy I jumped into was John Lennon. And he said, oh, I thought you were going home, could I, you know? And I said, no, I've done some change, you know, for the tunnel. I said, can you change a £5? He said, change one? I've never seen one. And lent me £0.50 to go to the tunnel. And I thought it was very nice, and I can't even remember actually giving it back to him.
Well, I really hope you've enjoyed our magical mystery tour around the South this week on South Today. There's loads more Beatle-related stuff on BBC Radio and TV this weekend. And with this, my special Beatle remote, I can make sure that the Beatles are here, there, and everywhere.
Looking quite dapper there. Alex is here with us in the studio, looking pretty good there, actually. Were they gardening gloves?
No, they were 60s driving gloves. That was all part of the retro look.
Really? Let's have a look at you again. And that coat?
Yeah.
Is that an original 60s?
That's an original 60s Macintosh. I got that from a vintage shop in
I've seen
Salisbury.
Tony wearing one of those.
It's fashion to come and go, you know. I think you look very dapper all the way through.
Thank you, Tony.
The thing I love about this week, though, has been, you know, all these stories about this group of individuals. You probably only just scratched the surface.
Oh, that was so much. And of course, once we started the series on Saturday, then the calls really started to come in. So we could have done this 10 times over.
And lovely that the excuse has been to just play the music as well, because that just stands for what they were.
Absolutely, and to go through the old South Today archive and get those lovely pictures from the Portsmouth Guildhall and all that stuff from Bournemouth has been brilliant.
What about some of the viewers? I mean, we have had so many emails, as we said, and so many stories coming in, but we've had a couple of famous, well, one in particular, quite well-known
and I had
getting in touch.
Yeah, Alvin Stardust got in touch. So I gave him a call yesterday, and he said he loved it, and he had Beatles stories. He was with the Beatles producer George Martin when they signed up at EMI, because in those days he was the 50s rocker Shane Fenton. You two, of course, are too young to remember Shane Fenton.
That went straight over the top of our heads then, didn't it? No, I'm sadly not too young. Tonight, Radio Solent is carrying on with some fabulous programmes.
Yes, we've got Tony Blackburn at 7 o'clock with the Beatles Down South, which is a great documentary. And then after that, Richard Latto has a 2-hour jukebox where you can phone up and ask for your favourite Beatle tune, and he will have it.
OK, we'll look forward to it. Alex, really loved the films all week. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. OK, so, windy and wet. Is it going to carry on, Raham?
It is still very wet, but of course not as wild as it was this morning. Look at some of these pictures. Dexter, beginning of next week. That's your weather.
Raham, thank you very much. Come and join us.
Yes, I've been waiting for this moment.
Friday programme.
Me sitting next to Alex Dyke, finally.
Fine. 7 o'clock, Tony Blackburn has the Beatles down south. 8 o'clock, Beatles jukebox. Very quickly, favourite Beatles track?
I like Paperback Writer.
Ah!
No, you're too late.
She loves me?
No, she loves me. She loves you.
You. Sorry, she loves you. Yeah.
That's it from us. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.